All right, how's it going? Welcome to episode 1 of Tunnel Vision. I guess we'll break down kind of what we're doing. Tunnel Vision is basically a podcast exploring student athletes, their journey through athletics, what they're doing now, how their skills kind of transfer into other areas of their life, because we think that it's a very special skill set and we want to be able to share the journeys of athletes, but also inspire the next generation for wanting to become a student athlete and the benefits of it, and not only in their athletic career, but in life in general. So our guest, Lee Danderfer, who I can now say is a pro baller, which is great.
Yeah.
Pro baller. So I guess we'll just get right into it. So tell us a little bit about how you got started, how your passion for basketball kind of came about.
Thanks for having me on. First of all,
Yeah,
this is cool. I've never been on a podcast.
And we've never had a guest before.
Yeah, we made it. We all made it. I started playing basketball when I was in about grade 9. I actually was like a part-time, like B-level volleyball player. I skateboarded a lot, got in a little bit of trouble here and there. And how I started with basketball, actually, I had an incident involving alcohol. When I was about 13 years old. So it was at the end of grade 8. Long story short, drank a lot of alcohol and got alcohol poisoning and had to take an ambulance to the hospital. My family was very, very scared. It was kind of a traumatic experience for, I guess, me and my family. Luckily, I have really good parents. And at that point, they super grounded me. So I wasn't allowed to leave the house for a long, long time. All I was allowed to do was go outside, and we had a hoop out on the driveway, of course, and I could just go outside and shoot. So that was the only thing I could do. I could play video games. I could go outside and shoot. I probably wasn't even allowed to play video games, actually. Yeah. No friends, nothing like that. Eventually, my parents started letting me have some friends over to play basketball. One of my close friends back then, Jamal, he was a really good basketball player. He was from Calgary. He played CYDC, and back then, if you played CYDC, you were a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So we'd play one-on-one. We'd work out. We'd lower the rim. He'd dunk on me. He would destroy me. He would kill me every day. But that's all I could really do. So I was playing basketball for hours and hours and hours till it was dark. Even after it was dark, I had a spotlight I would take out and set up out in the driveway, and I'd play until the neighbors started complaining. Then once I was finally off the super grounding, I was hooked, and all I wanted to do was play basketball. So, made the team in grade 9, kind of out of nowhere. Everyone was a little surprised that I was all of a sudden this baller, and took off from there.
Rose from the dead.
Yeah, literally.
I had a spotlight. So nice thing about growing up on a farm is that you don't have neighbors, so you can stay up as long as well. But I had a big spotlight on our back. We had like a little hoop set up and had a big spotlight on the deck, so I could play at night.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Something about shooting under the lights is like the best.
Oh, it's anything under the lights. Like
anything
ball, I played ball under the lights. It's the greatest. Like sometimes ball gets lost in the lights, so it's tough. But the atmosphere is so cool.
It's that atmosphere, right? It just elevates it, makes it so nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even tennis, there's like tennis courts that have lights sometimes. So I want to feel like a big shot. I go play under the lights in tennis.
Lee, you're one of the more competitive guys that I know. You don't really do it to show other people how little they're worth. You do it to show what you're able to do. And a lot of times, like, you want to prove it to yourself. Where did that competitive nature come from? What sort of influences did you have growing up that made you that competitor? Did you have that when you were playing volleyball, when you were skateboarding and all that kind of stuff too? Or was it something that kind of just was born through basketball?
I think it was born through basketball. Volleyball was just something that I did. My parents wanted me to play sports. Skateboarding was cool and it was fun. I wanted to be a pro skateboarder, but it wasn't.
Me too.
Yeah. It's not like I was like doing 100 kickflips a day and like working out, blah, blah, blah. So I think it came through basketball. And being from Grand Prairie, like I didn't get recruited at all out of high school. I got lucky and I went to an ID camp and I made a team. I had no offers though. So I always had a chip on my shoulder because I'm like, no, I know I can play. I know I'm as good as these 4A Edmonton, Harry Ainley, Jasper Place guys. I'm like, I know I can be as good as those guys, but they never get to see me play. Right. So I always had that chip on my shoulder. And then kind of the same thing when I got to college. It was like I went to Augustana, no one thought I could play because I was this short guy from Grand Prairie at Augustana that no one had heard of. So every time I wanted to play, I wanted to prove something. So,
well, let me tell you about when I learned about Lee Danderfer. You came to our gym at MacEwan, and we put the boots to you guys in front of our home crowd. It was like the whiteout game. There's 2,000 people there.
You went off. You had like 15 in the first quarter. I remember that. Yeah, you remember.
I remember being like, oh, it's going to be a sweep weekend, real easy stuff. And then we roll into Camrose and we play you guys at Augustana. And Lee hit 4 threes in about 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and busted our zone open, and it was like lights out from there. And I think he scored like 45 or 43 or something like that. Yeah. And they beat us, and it was like a 45-point swing from night 1 to night 2. And that's like some of the most ACAC stuff you can see is having those different scores night to night. But like we got Danderford, like we got killed by one dude, and no one else did a single thing. And it was so tough because like we needed that win definitely, and to just take us off our pedestal that we made for ourselves the night before, that was a tough one to swallow. And then the next year, the 2 years after that, you end up coming to MacEwan.
Yeah. So the crazy thing about that game is at the time it was like, oh my God, we beat MacEwan. This is a huge
Was that after
deal.
I was gone?
That was, yes, because this was my third year, so you were gone. Yeah. So that game happened, right? I'm on top of the world. We beat MacEwan. Augustana's doing the national championship. We're all so fired up. 2 years down the road, MacEwan obviously goes CIS. And I was in my 4th year at Augustana, and I wanted to go back to Augustana, but also like I was ready. I wanted something more, something else. And it was crazy. I was talking to my roommate, Josh Nickel, and teammate at the time, and I was like, Josh, I don't know if I can come back next year. He's like, why not? He's like, what are you going to do? He's like, you have 1 more year left. What are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, man, but I need something else. And literally, my coach, Dave Drabia, called me into the office that week, and he's like, I talked to you about something. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And we played MacEwan that weekend. He said, so the coach MacEwan, Eric Magdans, wants to talk to you when we're done playing this weekend. So we're going CIS next year, and he's wondering if like maybe you wanted to go to MacEwan. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, how did this come out of nowhere? Yeah. I'm like, this is, yes. So I looked into all the school stuff, and it worked out like seamlessly. Went to MacEwan and joined them and played CIS. So
4 years into your college career is the first time you had a coach reach out and tell you, I want you to come and play for my team.
Eric Magdan's the first guy to ever recruit me. Maybe the only one, but yeah. Shout out to Eric Magdan's. Yeah.
Was that like a point in time where you actually thought back to all the times that you didn't get recruited when that moment actually happened, Eric?
Yeah. And it was like, it just sucked because I knew I was good enough.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what am I going to do? Go to an ID camp and be like, hey, please let me join your team. And I have 1 year left. And
it's tougher when you're going to ID camps and proving what you can do versus someone reaching out to you and they already know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Especially going into your 5th year.
Well, and being, it's so much more benefit to a coach to recruit someone who's going into their 1st or 2nd year or even their 3rd year, because then there's an adjustment. It's almost a full season of adjustment for most players going from college to university. So like, unless you're one of the like special players that can just do it and has the confidence to do it, it takes a year. So they like to have 2 or 3 just so that they can develop you and shape you after you have your adjustment year. So like, that's kind of crazy. Like that's awesome though. Did you ever think about going like earlier in your career? Did you try and reach out to coaches or try to go CIS earlier, or was that something that just kind of popped up?
So after my 1st year, I didn't play much. I think I got into like 10 games. I played like a minute a game, maybe.
Because was Tony playing? Tony Wien?
Yeah, we had like a million guards. Yeah. So like I just wasn't getting in. After my 1st year, I was pretty upset. I was pretty fed up. I was like, I want to go somewhere and show that I could play. And I almost transferred to Red Deer, actually, where he played. I was like this close. I had the application filled out. I knew a guy in Red Deer from Grand Prairie. And I was super close to going. And a good friend of mine who was on Augustana at the time actually convinced me to stay. And he said, you have a lot of opportunities here. And like the people here do believe in you. And like if you can stick this out, like good things can happen.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm thankful that he did that because, like we said before, it's hard if you transfer. Like, it might not always work out.
Yeah.
You think the grass is greener on the other side, but you can get to that team and all of a sudden you're just another guy.
There's a lot of...
it's just because they're watering it more, right? Like, it's just where you want to put the effort in is where you'll be successful.
Well, and I think it's also like where you fit in time-wise too. Like, a lot of athletes' career depends on timing. Like, if you go somewhere where your style of play just doesn't fit in, or there's someone in a position ahead of you, like, timing and luck is so key in the success of a career. Like, someone can go down with an injury and you get a chance that you never thought that you would, and then you have the best career somewhere, or you play that full season, don't play at all, leave and go somewhere else that you're not appreciated or don't fit in as well or whatever. So it's like, you have to have the confidence in yourself that you can succeed anywhere and kind of mold yourself to where it fits in for the betterment of the team. But a lot of that is timing and luck.
Yeah, opportunity, right? Like with Jimmy Garoppolo right now in the NFL, he just filled in for Tom Brady when he was suspended or injured. Can't remember which one it was. And then, like, they had to make a choice. Like, do we even want to bring this guy back? So they had to ship him out to get, players back because he was such a great asset at that time. And now, he's an unbelievable quarterback for the 49ers. So all about opportunity and just being ready for that moment. He's a guy that struck me as always just kind of trying to maintain his sharpness and be ready for when that opportunity comes up. And I think one of the toughest things as an athlete is that you don't know when that opportunity is going to be. So a lot of times, like, you might think that, well, it's a very lonely game, first of all. It's super frustrating when you're just going and you're lifting this weight, but what is that weight doing? Is it actually, you can't track that progress, right? Every make that you make in an empty gym, you can't track that progress to how close that's going to get you to where you want to go till that opportunity comes up. And then you're like, oh, this is easy because I do it every single day. Today's just another day, but the opportunity is different, right?
And I think when you make those big decisions, like, I know for me, trusting my gut was like one of the things that I came to learn is super important. So
yeah, it's huge.
It is. It's like everything. It knows. I don't know how it knows, but it just does.
At a younger age, you kind of almost like outseek advice so much that you're unsure. But realistically, your gut feeling is usually 9 times out of 10 right.
Yeah, right. And that's like when I was deciding where to go to college, when I was deciding where to go to CIS. Like, there were so many opportunities, and I'm like, this seems like a smart idea. So, like, for example, when I was coming out of Augustana, I was getting recruited by UFC as well, and they were hosting nationals the next year. And I went to the camp. I didn't get a good feeling. I really liked the coaches. They were my CP coaches, but like, I didn't get a good feeling from like the gym. And the girls were super nice. Like, there was nothing, but it wasn't there. I was like, but I have a guaranteed nationals trip. I have, they're recruiting me like pretty heavy, which means I'm probably going to play. Like, I could go to nationals for sure. Like, that's a for sure. And then I went to the U of S, and it was just a completely different feeling. And as much as my head was like, nationals, like, you're pretty close to home. It's a good program. Schooling works. And nationals. And like, a shot at that ship is like what we all are after, right? Yeah. And every year in September 1, when you have that team meeting, it's like, this is our goal. We're after the chip at any level, right? That's always what you're after. So to turn that down is to trust your gut when you have a for sure. And it's like, well, I'm going to go with the maybe because it feels more right for me. And the U of S, like, there was, like, they'd gone to nationals the last, like, I don't know how many years, because Lisa Tomaitis is a genius, but like, they were graduating 5 fifth years. So it opened up a spot for me, but not a good chance we're going to go to nationals. We went to nationals. So I followed my gut. I went to the place that felt like the best fit for me, and it worked out. And it's not always going to work out that way. Like, I understand that, but at the same time, I think it was like more fulfilling because it was where my gut told me to go, and it was right. Yeah.
And probably like you had that sense of achievement even just because it wasn't guaranteed, but you still end up getting big time.
And I was a big part of that too. Like, I would like to think I would have been a part of the UFC's
run as well.
Like a big part of it too, but I don't know. I could have went there and my confidence could have been shot because I didn't fit in with the girls, or the school didn't feel right. Like, even just the gym, like it just didn't. I was like, this isn't home for me. I don't think this could be a home for me.
With that, actually, I have a question regarding, like, in terms of feel wise, you're like always a guy that I don't know you personally as well as these guys do, but from the outside I've always seen like you're a hard worker, and like you don't really care about outside noise, which I actually always appreciated because you don't care about what anyone says. It's if you believe it is going to happen. Right. It's just a matter of time and people seeing it happen. So when was it that you had that feeling that you wanted to play pro or even thought about it?
I mean, as soon as the buzzer sounded when I was done
Yeah.
playing university.
Yeah.
And like it's been hard because it's been 4 or 5 years since I graduated.
That's the craziest part, and that's why I wanted to touch on it too, is because 4 or 5 years, most people are gonna move forward or think of it as moving forward. Whereas I'm sure, like, I want you to kind of explain that a little bit. But
yeah, so the first few years, like, I was all in. I'm like, I'm playing pro basketball. There's nothing anyone can do. Like, I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
And I tried, and nothing came of it. And it gets hard because you start thinking like, okay, well, maybe I'm 24, 25 years old and I'm 5'11". I'm 6 feet on the internet. 3 different websites have me 6 feet on the internet.
That's right, a program 6 feet.
And like people are saying like, they're like, oh, Lee, I respect how hard you work at basketball. It's so cool. And like your commitment, it's awesome. But there's always a but. But maybe you should like transition into coaching, or like maybe you should focus on like something you do with your job. And it's like, as much as I appreciate those people looking out for me, they don't want me to waste my time. It's like, it's that gut feeling thing we just talked about. It's like, I tried to like, there was times where I like tried to not stop basketball, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop losing sleep over basketball and like being all crazy. And like 2 months would go by and I'd be like a mess. I'd be like, I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm like, for some reason, all I want to do is play basketball. Like, I will go play at rec centers. I'll play men's league. I'm like, I just want to play so bad. And I can't get rid of that feeling. So I'm like, so why am I keep like lying to myself? I'm like, I'm just going to keep trying. Why not? Like, so.
You've got this interesting kind of, like, what a lot of people who love basketball, they're immersed in it because it's very comfortable. It's something they've known from a young age. They like, kind of the environment that it is. It's very urbane. It has very hip hop overtones, things like that. People like go to the rec center, hang out with their boys and everything like that. And you have this ability to always just want to get a little bit better and better and better. And so your passion for basketball kept you committed to it, but I think you've got this other kind of competitive edge to you that no matter what you do, you just want to be as good as you can at it. You're not going there to be as good as you were yesterday or to get worse than you were yesterday. You're always seeking that kind of, upward trajectory. So that, I think, if you're going to do anything for an extended period of time, especially when you're trying to get to the professional level, the elite level, whatever you're trying to do it for 5 years, when you have, like, it's not like someone said, do this for 5 years and then this is what's going to happen. It's been a maybe the whole time, but to sharpen yourself for 5 years, to be, physically in the shape that you're in, your skills, like even the way that you play. The year that Lee played at MacEwan, I was on the coaching staff as an assistant, and the way that he plays then, even just for a feel of the game and understanding of the game, like most of the guys that we play with in men's league or that played back then, they play the same way. Right. And this is a guy that's just continued to progress and grow his game in so many different facets, go to different camps, go to different places with different trainers, different cities, different countries, things like that, and just pick up as much as he can and just use it to, build and just keep building up. So kudos to you, because to do that for 5 straight years, regardless of whatever it is, like even if you think that's a university degree, if it's stretched out, right? Like you got a bachelor's degree in basketball voluntarily, right? So like that's a tough journey, man.
I think this also reminds me of this book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. And like the more I kind of got into it and I was trying to figure myself out, it was, people would often ask me, why do you keep on going? Go to accounting or start media full time, or just like stop immersing so much into it. But for me, I was so obsessed with basketball that I knew that I could do all those other things at any point in given time that I wanted. Yeah. And I think that's the point that you're at, is where you're so obsessed about certain things and goals that you desire that you can get everything else at any point in given time. So I think that's one of the coolest things, where people shy away from that feeling of that obsessive feeling just because it's the word obsessed. But that is actually like similar to like the reason why I started Tunnel Vision, is because in order to achieve a goal like yourself, you had people from the outside saying, hey, you're like, we love your passion, we love everything, but and that but is what you kind of have to tune out and really focus on your goal. And I'm sure you've had like to an extent, a reverse engineered goal of how to get there and what steps you need to take. But I think it's just cool to hear, like 5 years is a long time, because people will buy in for maybe a year or 2 years.
That's the thing, right?
But 5 years just shows like character and so many things outside of basketball that you can even apply in regular day life and just you as a person. So it speaks volumes. Yeah. I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because if you let those people, not that they're haters, but like those suggestions, you get off track. It's like, I'd have been done a long time ago. But like, to simplify it, I just have so much damn fun when I play basketball. I'm like, hey, well, I work with kids, and we're always telling kids, like, trying to get them to have fun and like find passions about things. And it's like, if I have the most fun playing basketball out of anything that I do in my life, I'm like, why would I not continue to do that? I'm like, it's healthy, it's good. Like, obviously,
especially while you have the ability to.
Yeah, and like, obviously, like, it's my dream to play pro, but like, I don't like go to the gym every day and play every day because I because I'm like, I want to be a pro. I want to change my Instagram bio to professional basketball player. It's like, no, I don't. I just love doing it, and like, that's the next step of it, more or less. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, history. We went to Augustana for 1 year together, but like, didn't know each other that well, like from just mostly partying and whatever.
Working out.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, not in cameras, right?
Yeah, student athletes. Yes.
Yeah.
But I remember when you went from Augustana to MacEwan, and there was like a post that you put on Facebook about, you know, showing everybody that you could do it, and it was about like, it didn't seem like it was about you at the time. It was about proving everyone else. Whereas, and correct me if I'm wrong. But now when you talk about like going pro and realizing a dream, it's about you. It's about what you wanted to do, and it had nothing to do with what anyone else really had to say. It was just like, did you outgrow that? Am I completely missing the mark on that too? Or like, is that something that you feel like you've transitioned from in just like your growth throughout your career?
Yeah, no, I think you're onto something there, because like I'm too far into it to like be trying to prove people wrong.
That's right.
Like, I'm like, I don't know, like, if they don't think I can play, they don't think I can play. I don't really care, because like, you know, I'm going over to play basketball because like, I just, like I said, I want to play so bad. Like, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be glamorous. Like, it's going to be a grind. Like, in a way, some people would see it as I'm taking a step down in my, I don't know what,
professional
lifestyle.
career.
Lifestyle, whatever, quality of life, blah, 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 to do this. But to me, it's like, I don't see it like that. So I definitely agree with that. Like, now it's about like fulfilling my passion rather than.
It seems much more intrinsic for you, like the journey that you're on now, compared to, you know, always be measured against other guys. Right now, there's no other leagues right now. There's no guys who are 5 years post-grad trying to get a contract. You're the last one left, man, because all those other guys fell off the map, right? You're just the one of one right now. So it is always like a one-horse race, but like, you've truly embraced that now. And it comes out in your character a lot more too now. And it definitely comes out in the way that you talk about what you're trying to achieve and how you got there. The way you phrase things are, you know, considerably different from when I played against you, and then when I was on the staff when you were on the team at MacEwan and stuff too, right? So we go from you know, falling in love with basketball to not getting recruited to having to you know, asked to come to a camp. That camp turns into a roster spot. You put a 40 piece on us. You know, you get recruited to MacEwan, and then you get to MacEwan. We weren't really good as a team. I mean, every, you know, a new CIS program, a new youth sports program that we're trying to, you know, find our
identity,
our wings, right, and try to find what we got to do. You come in and you lead the country in 3-pointers. Nobody made more triples in the whole country than you.
And they were deep too. They weren't like
and like truly, like if we were to roll some of the tape back, like if you see Jamal Crawford when he played for the Knicks, if you see some of the shots that Lee was taking were like, they're so low percentage to shoot the clip that he did. No, for in the general basketball sense, to see the shots that through our offense he was able to get and knock down.
Like, get an IQ.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Right? Bad shots.
Lee almost
bad shot maker.
Remember the times where
a bad shot maker.
Yeah.
But like, if you're a bad shot maker and you do it however many times to lead the country in makes, like, you're just a shot maker.
I don't think a bad shot maker exists.
There you go.
If you're making shots, it's not a bad shot. But
man down.
Yeah. So it's not like we put you in the corner and we had a guard that got you all these looks. It's like, man, you're doing it with the ball in your hand. You're doing it coming off quadruple screens. You're hitting a guy with a screen and then popping and getting it out of your hand as quickly as you can, right? So like, you showed an element of your game that I had no idea existed. I thought you were just like a catch, shoot from deep, like get hot and watch out kind of guy. And your game just expanded. And then at the midway point of the year, we were like, Lee's got to guard our best player. He's the only guy that gets up and guys. He's got the competitive edge. If he gets a tip on it, we're probably going to come up with it because he's going to dive. He's going to be, grimy and scrappy and try to get after it and stuff. So I thought that was really the birth of when you were like, man, I'm here. I can do it. I haven't made it, but I know that I can, and I know that I'm ready. So we finished our career up in MacEwan. You keep grinding. You're a world traveler, so traveling, traveling all over the place. I mean, that can change your perspective a little bit, make you know what you want to do. And then you're on holidays in Europe, and you're touring around Europe. Tell us how the pro contract kind of came about and the funny route that you had to get there, because this is like storybook stuff. This is the reason why you stay ready, and the reason that like you've put in all the time that you've put in, because no one would have ever thought this kind of stuff would happen.
Before you start that, he's talking about like your game and your defense. He's talking about your defense before you got here, and it was like giving me anxiety because I know exactly the type of player that is, and you're just like, I want to elbow you in the face so bad, but I'm gonna feel so guilty if I do that, but I have no other option because you're smothering me.
And I'm this little short guy, so they're like,
you're right at elbow.
Totally.
See, but I was never one, like my dad would always be like, take one offensive foul a game, because then it's they won't do it again.
That's right.
I maybe once in a while if they really earned it, but like for the most part I wouldn't. But those are the ones that would get it, like that smother you, make you uncomfortable. But that's, if I think about your defense, and I'm how many years out of my career, you probably did a good job.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, kudos to you for that, man.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
World traveling tour.
So, after I tell this story, everyone's just going to think I'm really lucky. So maybe I am really lucky, but I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I was prepared though.
Yeah, exactly.
I was prepared.
If you weren't prepared, it wouldn't have even happened.
And like we talked about, a lot of people's career is timing and luck.
Yeah. Exactly. This is very true.
There you go.
So I wanted to go on a trip by myself. Just I've never traveled alone, and I wanted to kind of, I don't know, I just thought it would be a really good learning experience. So I had a friend over in Poland. I decided I wanted to go to Europe. I was like, I might as well start in Poland and figure it out from there. Poland's cheap, and I can fly around Europe for cheap. I'll figure it out. Went to Poland, was enjoying my time, blah, blah, blah. I really wanted to play basketball, just to play some pickup, get a workout in, meet some people, whatever. My friend found a Facebook group. She added me to the Facebook group, and it's in straight Polish. So I had to use the Google Translate app to post in it. I want to looking for a run, blah, blah, blah. I went and found some run. It was like super. They're like, oh, we have the pitch booked until this time. I'm like, what's a pitch? Like, what's going on? So I showed up, paid some guy like 15 zloty, which is like $5, played in a pickup game with some old guys. It was fine. It was nothing crazy. Then after that, I posted in the page again using Google Translate. I said, hey guys, I'm a basketball player from Canada. I'm wondering if there's a pro team in the area I want to go watch. A few people commented. There was someone commented like a link to a wheelchair basketball page. I think there was a women's team and something else. I was like, okay, well, it was worth a try. A few days later, I wake up and I look at my phone and I have this Facebook message from some Polish dude. It's like, hey Lee, I heard you're in the Poznan, Poland area, and I'm wondering if you're still an active basketball player. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, we practice next week. We're wondering if you wanted to come and practice with us and try out for a team, because we've had some injuries and we're looking for another guard or playmaker. And I'm like, okay, this has got to be some sort of scam. There's no way this is real.
Just give us your social insurance.
Exactly. I'm like, there's no way this is real, right? This shady Facebook guy. So then I respond and start asking questions, and he's giving me real answers. He's like, yep, practice is Tuesday at 7. This is where practice is. Sends me a link to where the practice is on Google Maps. I'm like, okay, this is legit. He's like, this is how our league works, blah, blah. Gives me all the details. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie, the night before I was out really late doing, traveling stuff, and I didn't have much sleep, but I was buzzing. I was shaking. I couldn't believe that this was happening. Yeah. And I wanted to call everyone back home, wanted to call my mom, but everyone was sleeping. It's 4 a.m. here. And I'm freaking out, whatever. Called a couple of people, told them, went to practice, and, everything went really well, played super hard.
And just killed it, right?
My first week I did pretty well. We did some 3-on-3 stuff. I got it going with my jumper and it was just, it was so like fulfilling to be like, we were doing like defensive drills that like everyone hates, but I was just like having so much fun, like, jumping to help, like help, doing all this stuff. And then, the GM and the coach both said like, if you move here, you're on the squad basically. So,
the power of mixtapes, man. The guy finds you via Facebook, finds your YouTube, and then looks at this highlight tape from 2014, 2015, and says, like, are you still active and playing? Like most, you'd think that those tapes are the highest point of somebody's career. That was like a midpoint of comparatively to where you are now. You show up and you're better than what you were in the tape, right? That's got to be a nice surprise for a coach, definitely. So I kind of skipped that part, I guess, but so how the coach found me was some other guy saw just some random dude who likes to play basketball in Poland, some old guy. Great guy. He's like my favorite person in the world. Marek is his name. He saw my profile, went on my profile, saw my highlight video, then sent it to the GM. Like,
how does that happen?
Like as if, And now I'm moving there in 8 days.
That's so wild.
It's wild.
So when you went to,
which is
like, the workouts,
January for the people who watch this, probably in January.
Okay,
he'll be there.
Right? He'll be gone already.
I fly out on the 30th.
Nice.
When you got like the time and you're ready to go and stuff, were you nervous or were you like just pumped about it?
Like the first practice kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I had my stuff all laid out like 5 hours before I even had to go. I had like my socks, my shoes, and I'm like, this is it. I'm like, this is the tryout of my life, basically.
Yeah. One shining moment playing in your head on loop, right? Like,
Did it feel like every other tryout, or was it, because I know there's certain things that I do now that I'm thankful I went to tryouts because of how nervous you would get, like going to provincial team tryouts and stuff, like small town, like you go to tryouts and nobody knows who you are. So you have to, it feels like you have to do that much more because everyone else is already, like she didn't have a good tryout, but because they see what they have. Whereas like you're coming from somewhere where they have no idea who you are. You have to do something like special to be noticed.
For sure.
But I feel like it I was just wondering if it gets easier, like I haven't gone to a tryout. I've done things that it's helped me with, but I haven't actually gone to a tryout. So is that something that like, finally it's my shot, I'm prepared, I'm ready? Was it a mix of I'm prepared, I'm ready, and nerves, or like?
Well, I knew I was ready. Like I talked to a few people on the phone and I'm like, I'm nervous, blah, blah. They're like, dude, you've been working out for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like,
there's not much more you could have done. Like,
this is what you're supposed to do. Like, this is it. So, it was nervous though, like going, like no one speaks English over there. Right. So like figuring out like even where to go, how to get there. I walked into the wrong side of the building and like people are talking to me in Polish and I'm just like super tourist. Guys on the team were all speaking Polish, but once got the blood flowing a little bit, made a couple of shots and the nerves were gone. Then it was like, that ultimate focus. It was like, all right, like this is what I got to do.
You get back to doing what you've been doing for so long.
Exactly. I'm like, I know how to do this stuff. This is what I
I like this.
Yeah, this is good. So
that's awesome. Well, to wrap it up, appreciate you for being on here. I'm sure we could talk for hours, to be honest. But our cameras are going to die out before that happens. But we'll definitely have you back on here after you're back again. Good luck with everything. I don't think you need it, to be honest. You're like the most prepared dude I know. Actually, what's funny, to wrap this up too, I remember seeing someone, I think it was Denzel, mentioning that Lee's the one guy that you would love to have on your team because he's the hardest worker, but hate to be on the opposite side because he's the hardest worker. So that itself just speaks volumes of who you are.
From a guy like Denzel too. That guy works too, right? So that's very high praise.
Exactly. Yeah. But wish you all the best.
Thank
you. Good luck with everything else in that. You're going to be posting a lot about it?
I'm going to try to step up my Instagram game.
You have to.
Do you want to shout the handle out? Give us your handle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lee_Dandy24. Yeah.
Sweet.
Like, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah, you gotta keep us up to date for sure.
I'm going to step up the gram game for sure.
And we all want to see it back home. If nothing else, like, we want to see it just because we're rooting for you. We're in your corner.
Yeah, and if there's ever a chance where you could, like, possibly watch, like with a link or something.
Well, I'm sending the link out for sure.
Okay, because I want to watch for sure.
Without it, you might have to be at like 4 a.m.
What's the time?
I got up to watch like 3x3 at like 3 a.m. So
there you go.
I'm no stranger.
That's good. Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming out, man, and best of luck, man. We're happy for you. Can't wait.
Thanks, guys.
Hey.
And that's a wrap.
Hey,
That was good.
I think so. Hey,
Yeah.
I think that was, you know why that was
You know what
good?
though? We might think it is, and then we'll go watch it and be like,
No,
oh,
that was
shit.
good.
The mic
Was it
wasn't
good?
That mic wasn't.
I kept doing this, like looking down at my ponytails for some reason. I'm like, they're gonna think